every Saturday.
Subscribe to JW Outdoors.
In April 2022, the Oak Hill Area Chamber of Commerce had a big idea. They wanted Oak Hill, Ohio to have the world's largest acorn. But in order to be the world's largest acorn, they would need to beat the current world's largest acorn, which was 10 feet tall and located in Raleigh, North Carolina. By the end of 2022, they decided they could do it. So project development began, and initial discussions with Romar Metal Fabricating, a local business, began in early 2023. The chamber had hoped that the world's largest acorn could be unveiled as part of their sesquicentennial, the 150th anniversary of Oak Hill, in late 2023. Fundraising began in April 2023. Having the acorn ready in 2023 was an ambitious goal, but hey, you gotta start somewhere. On April 17, 2023, the chamber received their first donation by Girl Scout Troop 2380. In August 2023, the chamber received news that the Ohio Arts Council would provide $10,000 toward the project. This was just the break they needed. More donations started being made from local businesses, Oak Hill residents, and former Oak Hill residents all across the country. The chamber now knew they could do it. They picked a site for the acorn at Central Memorial Park on an existing concrete pad, which was perfect. Romar Metal Fabricating completed a 1/10 scale prototype in November 2023. The chamber met their fundraising go-ahead goal in early 2024 and gave Romar permission to proceed with fabrication. The Ohio Art Corridor committed to including the world's largest acorn soon after. This meant the acorn would be part of a 144-mile outdoor art showcase across Appalachian, Ohio. Romar began working with CAD designers JB3 Moto in early 2024, and the bottom half of the acorn was fabricated over the next several months. The top half of the acorn was fabricated next and was completed in early 2025. The acorn was so big it had to be mounted to a trailer and stored in its own garage. In early May 2025, R&E Excavating completed the foundation. The foundation for the acorn was a hole 3 feet in diameter and 5 feet deep, filled with nearly 2 cubic yards of concrete delivered by AK Ready Mix. In late May 2025, the moment of truth arrived. The top of the acorn was placed on the bottom and the bolts were checked to make sure it all fit together. On June 4, 2025, the Ohio State Highway Patrol graciously volunteered to weigh the acorn. The world's largest acorn tipped the scales at a whopping 2,835 pounds, over 1.4 tons. The acorn was scheduled for painting and the official unveiling was set for June 14, 2025 at noon. The world's largest acorn was painted by Premier Painting on June 10, 2025. The world's largest acorn was delivered to the site and erected in the early morning of June 14, 2025. The bottom of the acorn was lifted over the fence and bolted to the foundation. Then, a worker was lifted into the acorn, and the top of the acorn was placed onto the bottom, and the bottom and top were bolted together from the inside of the acorn. Finally, the stem was bolted at the top. The world's largest acorn was erected in less than 2 hours. A 30 by 30 feet tarp was placed over the acorn. The excited crowd gathered around waiting on this momentous occasion.
There he is. Wore my acorn earrings today in honor.
Special event.
Yeah.
We're here today for the unveiling of the world's largest acorn. This project is one that the Chamber is very excited about because it will give people a big reason to visit Oak Hill. I have visited many of the world's largest and smallest things in my travels around this great country, and nearly all of them are in small towns just like Oak Hill. To name a few, the world's largest rocking chair, the world's largest ball of twine, the world's smallest church, the world's largest belt buckle, the world's largest popcorn ball, the world's largest working chainsaw, the world's largest buffalo, the world's largest turkey, the world's largest working rifle, the world's smallest diner, the world's largest toilet, the world's largest revolving and rotating globe, the world's largest light bulb, the world's largest watermelon slice, which sounds boring, but you could actually drive it and it had a V8 motor. And the one that is the most difficult to say, the world's largest collection of the world's smallest version of the world's largest things. So there are lots of world's largest and smallest across the country, and Oak Hill is about to become a member of that group. This idea was actually first thought of by one of my 3 sons, who was probably less than 10 years old at the time, after we had visited the world's largest popcorn ball in some very tiny town in Iowa. We were getting gas across the street from the popcorn ball, and he said to me, "Dad, why doesn't Oak Hill have something like this so people will come to Oak Hill and visit and spend money like we're doing?"
Smart kid.
A 7-year-old.
Yeah.
So all these world's largest and smallest things have one thing in common. They are in small towns, and people go out of their way to see them. People will go out of their way to see the world's largest acorn at Central Memorial Park in Oak Hill. And when they do, they will spend money at our local businesses while they are here. That is an undeniable fact about this project. The world's largest acorn is an impressive structure, which you'll soon see, built to last for many, many years, and something for Oak Hill, Jackson County, Ohio, and the entire region to be proud of. So today, June 14th, 2025, the current world's largest acorn in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is ironically named the City of the Oaks, which stands 10 feet tall and weighs 1,250 pounds, will become the world's 2nd largest acorn. The new world's largest acorn, which you're about to see unveiled, stands at a height of 15 feet and 5.5 inches, weighs 2,835 pounds, over 1.4 tons, more than double the weight of that acorn in North Carolina. This acorn is 11 feet 3 inches in diameter, 50,625 times larger than an average sized acorn. The acorn is held together with 40 bolts, each 1/2 inch in diameter and 1/2 inches long, and is made of 20 panels of 14 gauge cold rolled carbon steel. That sounds tough. The 20 steel panels are held together with 5,916 inches of weld, most of which were welded by Seth Mercer from Romar. The foundation for this acorn is a hole 3 foot in diameter and 5 foot deep, filled with nearly 2 cubic yards of concrete. Over 500 man-hours went into making the world's largest acorn. Oak Hill's acorn is undeniably now the world's largest acorn. Before we unveil the world's largest acorn, I have to mention the donors who made this all possible. First, the Chamber officers and volunteers, myself, President of the Chamber, Bruce Barker, Zach McCain, Treasurer, Judy Hamilton, Brian Moore, a member. Trina Dickens is here with us as well, the new Secretary. Our gold sponsors of helping support the acorn, the Haya Arts Council, who's here with us today, In loving memory of Alan Moore, the Evan E. Davis family. Our silver sponsors, JVC Metals, Benton County Bank, Welsh American Museum, Dan Brisker, Ohio Valley Bank, Jackson County Community Foundation, a bake sale that was done by Josette, Rhonda, Gretchen, and Janetta, Hugh Regal, Jerry Holback, Gary Martian and Brian Radeball, Hogs Pest Control in loving memory of Bill Shackelford, Melanie Davis, Speyside Bourbon Cooperage, Josette and Mark Calvert, Atomic Credit Union, Sailor Properties LLC, in memories of Ronnie Kaiser, Scott and Missy Strickland, and then our community sponsors, Ron and Irene Crabtree, Deborah Canner, Jeff and Susan Moore, the Ball family, Home of the Oaks, Nancy Davis, Marilyn and Daryl Bulbs, it might be unveiled by the wind for Ron Johnson in loving memory of Bill Shackelford, Beth Exline, Andrea and Glenna Abbott, Al's Pampered Pooches, Dennis L. Crabtree Sr., Vicki Howell Williams, Enid Howell Miller of Pyro, Leroy Howell Miller of Pyro, Wells Howell of Pyro, Clay Howell of Pyro, Atkins Floral, Richard and Judy Hamilton, Bradford Consulting, in memory of Kirk Jones, Martha Daddy Foster, Brian and Rhonda Moore, Bobby Atkins, William Douglas and Bobby Atkins, in memory of Helen Jones, Bobby Atkins, Billy Joe Atkins, and William Walker and Wyatt Strickland. There will also be a swing constructed somewhere in the back, which will be a lovely place to take photos for visitors in front of the World's Largest Acorn, and the swing will be donated by Dan Brisker. And last but certainly not least, the ones who actually made the Acorn. R&E Excavating, Justin Denny, donated his time and labor to dig that big foundation hole and to finish out the concrete. Newsome Equipment Rentals, who donated the equipment to install the Acorn. Ohio Highway Patrol, who recorded the official weight. Sign Solutions and Graphics, Rob and Julie Puckett, who Rob was up till past midnight last night making us these signs. So thanks, Rob and Julie. Zach and Terry McCain and Brian Dunn for helping install the sign. The CAD designers, JB3 Motto, John Lambert and Brian Walker. And last but certainly not least, Romar Metal Fabricating Incorporated for overseeing this project and building it. We'll bring Dylan Newsome up here quickly. Dylan, anything you'd like to tell us about making the world's largest acorn?
It was definitely a challenge, but it was a challenge we were glad and honored to be a part of and be asked to do. Of course, we had the privilege to fabricate the world's largest acorn. It was just an honor that the Oak Hill Area Chamber of Commerce asked us to be the fabricator and carry out the project. As Curtis mentioned, we had over 500 man hours, and my dad had countless sleepless nights over this acorn. JB3 Moto designed and created the CAD drawings, Brian Walker and John Lambert, and even machined threads on the anchor bolts for us. As Curtis mentioned, R&E Excavating, Justin Denny, he provided the equipment to demolish the old concrete and pour the new foundation. And the concrete was provided by AK Ready Mix, like Curtis had mentioned. Premier Painting, they came and provided the paint and labor to add the final touches to the acorn. And finally, Newsome Equipment Rentals for providing the equipment to set the acorn. Also, we would like to thank everyone else that you see on the sign and everybody that had something to do with this project. We are thrilled to have completed it, and we hope you all think it turned out as well as we did.
Your Ohio Arts Council also, and our staff, our Executive Director, Donna Collins. I just want to share, it's such a joy to be here today and celebrate with you the unveiling of what is the world's largest acorn. So I'm sure that this project will have a long-lasting legacy to your community, showing the creativity, the hard work, community pride, and we are so thrilled that we were able to be a part of it and help support this project. I want to take a moment to thank all the legislators or representatives of legislators that are here today, because without their support, the Ohio Arts Council and projects like this would not exist. So thank you all and congratulations.
The world's largest acorn is going to be on the Ohio Art Corridor, which is a organization started by a gentleman up in Muskingum County. And in order to be on that corridor listed on their website and part of their tour, the structure has to be at least 15 foot tall, has to be open to the public and free. So we will be on the Ohio Art Corridor, so that should generate more traffic to the Acorn. Now what we've all been waiting for, let's unveil the world's largest acorn.
Hit the subscribe button for more great videos.
Like and follow us on Facebook at 3WR Duos.